Hello and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, KK Konashiro. As Election Day on November 6 approaches, efforts are underway to raise awareness to the importance of young people taking part in the democratic process through their votes, recognizing the vital role they have to play in the future direction of our country. Students and organizations in Fremont are coordinating voter registration drives to help bring FUSD students to the polls. Here to speak about this work being done in our community are Robinson High School student Sofia Escutia, Mexi Rodriguez, along with social science teacher Brittany Martina Weinhardt, as well as Fremont Unified Board Trustee Desiree Campbell, who is also representing Tri-City Health Center that has been assisting students with their registration drives, and of course the famous Miss Julie Dunkel, who's the founder of the Parkland Voter Movement. Thank you so much for being here. This is wonderful, but I'm going to switch it up with you. We're going to start with the students, okay? As a student, a teenager, why is this such a huge priority for you guys to get the message out, for kids to get involved? Why did you jump on this?
Well, I think we have a lot of opinions socially, and we talk about them publicly on like social media, and I think it's not helping to just talk about it, that you should get involved and have your voice heard.
Okay, Mexi?
Also to add on that, like, we are the newer generation and we should be able to know what laws are being passed and like just be more into politics that way, like, you know, and because we also need the voice, right? And voting is just strictly like one of the things we need to do for it.
Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. I like that. Okay, so I know you guys had several drives in the spring at several different schools. Can you tell me how successful that was or how surprising that was? What was the outcome? What did you think? Anybody?
Well, our school didn't have one in the spring. We just had ours this last week, and we're gonna have another one next week on Tuesday. And for our school, I think it was a really good turnout. We had 80 students like actually go out and like fill out all the forms and register and all the way and complete them. And then next Tuesday we're gonna target the students that we didn't get.
Okay, good. Did you want to?
Sure. Last year we did Kennedy, Mission, and Irvington. And Kennedy was a lunch drive, and they have an open campus, so that wasn't the best planning. But Mission, all the classes, and Irvington, all the classes came in. Mission, 444 students registered, and at Irvington, 353.
Okay, so did you want to say something about the drive?
I just think that was a wonderful opportunity for our kids to get civically engaged in the process of voting, and so that congratulations on getting that done, and I'm hoping that more of our schools will come on board to be a part of this movement, particularly since it's a student-driven movement.
Right, excellent.
So I think it's
now,
great.
as a teacher, why should I vote? My vote won't count, it's just one person. What would you say to that student?
So one of the things that we've been looking at, especially in our government class, is who votes for what candidate over time and who typically shows up to vote. And if students are unhappy with who's being elected, it's because people of their demographic and of their party aren't voting, so they need to be the person who makes that change when they turn 18. They're voting. If not, the same result that they are unhappy with is going to continue to happen.
Okay, so Julie, since you're the founder of this movement with your son, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was it your son who came up with this idea and you helped him facilitate it through, or did you jointly come up with this, or what motivated you to start this?
Well, we came up with an idea when Sandy Hook happened, and that was great, and we kind of followed through, the two of us doing our little thing. But when Parkland happened, we really got energized by all the youth that were out there. They were so passionate and so articulate, and we went down to the San Jose March, and it was amazing at what they organized by themselves. And so there was so much positive energy, and we thought, you know, there's got to be something more than just doing the marching. And so that's kind of how we came up with the idea, is let's harness this energy and let's, you know, put it into a new uprising for these youth.
So what was your first step? Did you go to the board and say, we would like to do this? Did you go to the superintendent, we'd like to do this? So what was the process?
Well, first we got a bunch of adult and teen volunteers together, and we talked about how we might do it. We met every Saturday for I think 6 weeks.
Okay.
And that included meeting with the superintendent.
Oh, good. Okay.
Dr. Wallace, and asking if she would like to be part of the inaugural district. And she said she thought that was wonderful. And so the teens and the adults from the League of Women Voters, we just kind of designed it together, and we met for those 6 Saturdays. Then in the next 6 weeks, we had registered over 1,000 students.
Wow. And this is your second year into it?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, well, congratulations to the kids.
Yeah,
'cause they're the ones
absolutely.
that do most of the work.
Okay. Now, Miss Brittany, could you educate anyone watching us who wouldn't understand why the high schoolers are getting their fellow high schoolers involved with voting? Don't you have to be 18?
Well, actually, you can start pre-registering in California as early as 16.
Good.
All you got to do is go online to Get Registered California. You want to do the spiel because you guys have done it a bunch of times?
Yeah, so when you're 16 or 17, you can pre-register. You can do that by texting 788-653, I think. I'm not sure, but you text vote to that number.
Okay.
And then you can pre-register. It goes through everything as long as you know the last 4 digits of your social.
Yeah.
And then online you go to registertovote.ca.
.gov.ca.
Yeah. Okay. And then you have to click pre-register, and then you fill out all the information.
Okay. So say I'm 16, I go to your drive, I register, but I still can't vote for 2 years. What words of motivation would you use to encourage me to stay with this?
So actually, that's what we're going to be tackling on Friday at our school. All of our social science students will be taking part in a special enrichment lesson on what you can do even if you don't have the right to vote for whatever reason. Maybe you're not a U.S. citizen, or you're not old enough, or don't have the time to vote. So we're going to talk about how to utilize social media to get your opinions out there, how to talk to your family members and friends who are eligible to vote, how to utilize their vote. And it really goes beyond just showing up to vote.
Okay.
On November.
Perfect. Okay, so how do you prepare your students for negative feedback on their political posts? Because it can be harsh.
So empathy is something we really try to work with, and understanding why others believe opinions that are different than our own, and so giving them strategies and sentence frames that they can use to respond to those negative comments, and if necessary, just removing themselves from the conversation.
I wish you were my teacher. Okay, so can you girls tell us, when you have a drive that you're preparing for, what is the process? What do you plan for? How do you set it up? Do you meet with the principal first? Do you talk to the teachers first? How does this happen?
So our government class that we have, pretty much set it up. They basically told us, like, we had a pink sheet of paper, and it showed us the 3 different ways to get registered through your phone, through the computer, and then with the actual paper ballot that you could get from a booth.
Okay.
And then we went through all of it, and then we basically kind of used it as a little, like, as a script, so that when we approach, our classmates, and, I mean, a lot of them were my friends too, so I basically told them they had to do it.
Okay. Peer pressure works too. It's a good thing. Okay. Did you see it? Was that easy, or?
Yes, and I will be doing it next Tuesday as well.
Okay.
But so far as the process, you just want to let them know, like, do you meet one of the requirements in order to vote? And then from there, you try to encourage them.
Okay. So what do your fellow classmates think about you guys doing this? Is it receptive? Are they willing to listen to you while you're talking to them about this?
Yeah, some of them that I didn't think would be interested were really, they're really quick about getting on it. But then some of them were really honestly didn't want to do it. And I think because they didn't have the drive to do it. It's not that they couldn't, but yeah, it was like, it went both ways. But it was pretty good still, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you find the same way?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like what happened over that, like just that one day, having nearly half the students already registered is just a really good feeling.
That's good. So did you want to say something?
Oh, I think it's what you were talking about earlier. A lot of them still don't think that they have an impact with their voice and with their vote, and especially if they're 16, it's harder to convince them that doing it now will help you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Inside your booth, do you have like visuals to help these kids understand that if we had all the millennials vote a certain, whatever, just vote, things would have been different? Do you have anything like that to show them? Because it's hard to encourage these young people. I'm 16, I got 2 more years, then they forget. Life happens, you know.
I can help you with that.
Okay.
So at the schools where they come into an auditorium, we do a presentation.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we do a video on the history of voting. It's and it has the teens, celebrities in there, so they pay attention to it, and it's
very smart.
The kids like it. And then we do one on the importance of midterms.
Okay.
But we also show them a graphic that shows by age the voting population. And in California, only 8% of the youth vote.
Scary.
It's very scary. However, of the youth, 8% of those eligible to vote.
Yeah.
But of the ones who register to vote, 84% vote.
Oh, that's good.
So the promise is, let's get people registered to vote. And then we have another graphic that shows basically, and this is the first time this is going to happen, where the youth demographic is going to pass any other demographic.
Right.
So if the youth can get out and vote, they actually have more power
Then as baby boomers.
than everybody else.
Yeah.
So we talk in the video and during the
Good.
presentation about what that power can mean.
That's good.
Because right now the politicians, they just ignore the youth because it doesn't make any sense if only 8% of them are going to vote.
Right, right. So I hope everyone's watching this, they understand you guys have the power, okay?
That's for sure. And then, Julie, can you share with her the other, you said 18 to 20, the campaign that you're going to be doing with Fremont Unified as well?
Yeah, so we have kind of a little offshoot of the Parkland,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called 18 to 24 Uprising. And so it's talking about getting this group to uprise, and to really take control and be powerful. So last year we just did the registration drives.
Okay.
This year we're going to add on to that. We're going to do like flash mob voting. So for example, at Mission High School and Ohlone, they're going to meet down at the bottom of the Ohlone campus.
Okay.
And have signs about voting and do it maybe the Saturday before the voting and all have their mail-in ballots and then march from that location up to the Mission Church.
Okay.
And then around to the post office.
Okay.
And then get to the post office exactly 18 minutes after. So between 18 and 24 minutes past the hour.
That's brilliant.
They're going to put their votes in. And this is something I wanted to talk to each one of the school sponsors about.
Yeah.
Is we want the kids to come up with their own idea of how they're going to do some flash mob voting thing. So it's more social, the students get together. And then we're also planning to try to have the students get together on election night.
Okay, that's
and have
good.
an activity around that. So that's part where, and the flash mob, where the younger people can participate as well.
Right.
And so we have some questions around, things to look for on voting night and what's going on the TV. And
That's great. I love that.
So we're trying to make it more social and get the teens talking to each other and
Yeah.
getting more visibility for their.
Okay. That's great. I love that.
For their efforts,
Their
right?
voices,
Absolutely.
For their voices, and one of the things we went to the eSurf board meeting and
Okay.
talked to the students about, and they're the leadership group
Right.
of Fremont Unified, and talked to them about the importance of voting and who they can vote for. As an elected official, you can vote for your school board members, you can vote for your city council members, and how important that was, especially since our students do have a voice in Fremont Unified. I mean, they bring things to us like the sleep study that they brought to us, and they brought to us information about the caps and gowns and how they wanted them to be able to pick their own colors. And so as the school board members, we really listen to the voice of the youth, and they want to change the school calendar so that they can get more sleep or finish their finals before Christmas. And so they have some great ideas. And so if they can add to that power by being able to select the school board members that support some of the ideas that they have.
Yes.
And so that's really exciting for us.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a fellow student who's registering, but they feel overwhelmed because they feel like they don't feel knowledgeable, or they don't understand legislation or what this person really is all about, so they freeze. How would you help them understand what's going on? How would you help educate them in the different legislative bills that are going on, or even candidates? How would you help them with that?
So Julie actually brought us a good resource in the other women of League of Women Voters, Voters Edge. Really cool website. I actually honestly hadn't heard of it until the women brought it to my attention, and so it's a resource we're going to be sharing with the students.
Okay. Now I know the League of Women Voters also does debates with the different candidacy. Can the students come and participate and listen? And
Yes, so one of the things we're going to be passing out to all the students is a list, it'll probably be a full page front and back, of other voter registration drives, like for example at Tri-City Health, where they can go and volunteer to try to get other people registered to vote. And then also all these candidate forums. So there's a school board candidate forum, and there's the city council, and or on some issue, and so or their representative, like Rokana's doing a town hall. So we'll have all that information on the sheet, so that they can access that either as a volunteer or trying to find out more information. And then we pass out bookmarks to all the kids with Voters Edge.
oh, perfect, yeah.
But they probably will lose those, so we'll put that on the bottom.
Okay.
And it's a nonpartisan. It has both sides, every candidate statement, and so it's a nice place to go and kind of compare and contrast.
Okay. How many more drives are you planning on doing before we vote? Do you know offhand?
Well, we have one very big one scheduled for Logan on Friday. And then we have 3 next week in Fremont. We have Mission and Irvington and Washington. And Washington, this will be their first time.
Oh, perfect.
And then we're hoping that the week after that we'll have American and Kennedy. So that will cover all of the Fremont schools.
Excellent. Well, I wish you the very best of luck. You won't need it, but good luck to you. Thank you so much for being on the show. We do appreciate it. And come on, get the power. From everyone here at Community Conversations, we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you.